Hey, it's Tristan from www.primaledgehealth.com. I get quite a few private messages, people asking me questions and diet advice. I'm sorry, I do not respond to most of these. Do not respond. I do not give diet advice via private message. I apologize, but sometimes I'll take some of those private messages if there's a running theme that I see, and I'll make a video about it. So this video is about what should I not do or do when I hit a plateau when I'm doing keto for weight loss. Now, there's a lot of different ways to lose body fat. Keto is not the only way. There's many different ways. There's many different ways to do it. But a question that I got recently, actually several times recently, and I was very surprised because I hadn't heard of this before. Somebody must be putting out information about this right now. But several people asked me, should I do a fat fast to break a plateau? And the answer is no. I don't know where this concept came from. I haven't really looked it up. I think that sounds absolutely absurd. If you're going to fast, you should be only drinking water. That is what fasting is. If you're fasting and you're eating fat, and your goal is to fast in order to lose body fat, you are going about it in the incorrect way. If you're fasting to lose body fat, which first of all, in most cases, I would not recommend that. I do not recommend that my clients fast. I do not recommend extended fasting to most people. Of course, there are circumstances where it could be beneficial. I'm not saying fasting is bad. There's a lot of research on it and the benefits of it, the possible benefits of it. But I don't recommend it to my clients. I don't guide people through fasting. I don't think fasting should be used, and I don't use fasting personally unless it's for personal development and spiritual reasons. That's just a personal thing, all right? That's just me. I'm not saying that's what it should be like for everybody. But if you are going to fast, if you're doing intermittent fasting, you don't eat food during your fasting window. You don't eat fat especially, because what you're trying to do is burn off that body fat. You're trying to take fat from your body. You want to take the fat from your belly. You don't want to take it from your plate. So, if you hit a plateau, the last thing you want to do is cut out your protein, cut out your micronutrients and your fiber, and eat fats. You'd be much better off doing a straight fast than you would doing a fat fast. I don't know where this came from, but I think it's crazy. It sounds insane. So yeah, don't do fat fasts. I'm going to have to look this up now. Now I'm actually interested in seeing where this crazy information comes from now that I'm talking about it. So fat fast, don't do that to break a plateau. Should I fast to break a plateau? Well, that's context dependent, and in most cases I wouldn't really recommend fasting for more than 24 hours unless you're dealing with a serious illness or engaged in some sort of a spiritual practice around it. I think fasting can be very beneficial physiologically. I think it can be very beneficial psychologically. But I also think it can be very damaging psychologically as well. If you're driven for the wrong reasons, you could be justifying obsessive behaviors and driving yourself through desperation, through fear and insecurity to do things that are not going to be good for you in the long run and form habits around food that may not be beneficial in the long run. So for that reason, I don't recommend you just do a fast in most cases if you're trying to break a plateau. So, fat fasting and straight up fasting, probably not the best way to go. If you do hit a plateau, the first thing to do is to step back and check your mind. Breathe. Focus. Everything's okay. If you've got a lot of weight to lose, it's not going to be a linear descent to your ideal weight, to your goal body composition. It takes time. It takes time. Your body doesn't just bounce into your ideal composition instantly. It takes work. It took you time to get overweight. It takes us time to make these mistakes that drive us. It takes time in these unhealthy habits. It takes time in these unhealthy lifestyle choices that lead us to being overweight, being sick, being depressed. It takes time to get there, and it takes time and effort and energy to get out. So you got to enjoy the ride. Slow down a little bit. Look at the situation. Check your metrics that you're using. First of all, a lot of people think that they've stalled, and they really haven't stalled. They're not seeing the reflection on the scale of what's going on physiologically in the body. So a very, very common thing is the scale may stop moving, but body composition may be changing. When you're creating a new lifestyle, when you're creating a healthy lifestyle, when you're implementing things like resistance training, when you're lifting weights, when you're putting on some lean muscle mass, the scale might not be moving, but you might be carrying less body fat and carrying more muscle mass. So using metrics other than the scale can be helpful. Metrics like measuring your waist, measuring your legs, the circumference of your arms, measuring the target zones where you carry the most fat and seeing if you're making progress. For those individuals who are more lean, using calipers can be useful. So there's one thing you can do. Check your metrics. Make sure you're not just psychologically hyping yourself into desperation because you're not getting those instant results that we all want. We're in this world, we're used to point, click, instant results. Get on a computer, point, click, dopamine. Point, click, see this, see that. Everything's flashy, fast, new. The body doesn't work that way. Your body's a much more ancient and refined technology, a much more beautiful and elegant system. That vessel that you live in doesn't just react to the push of a button most of the time. It takes time to change it. We build our bodies around the habits that we live with. So, fasting, fat fasting, wouldn't necessarily do that. Drastically cutting calories. Wouldn't really recommend that in every circumstance. Of course, when you're on keto, you want to make sure you're getting sufficient protein. So another thing you might want to do is check your protein levels, making sure you're getting enough protein. If you're doing a lot of resistance training, you might need more protein than somebody who's more sedentary. If you're older, you probably need more protein than somebody who's younger. Because as we age, we turn over protein more. We are less able to assimilate proteins and amino acids into our body. That's just how it is. So make sure you're getting sufficient protein. Then you may want to dial back on the fats a little bit. The protein's going to stay fixed for the most part. You make sure you get enough of it. The fat is what moves around. The fat's the sliding scale. So if you want to gain weight, gain muscle, you might want to increase the protein a little bit. You might want to increase those fats. If you're looking to drop body fat, fat is the one that you're going to dial back on. Of course, you could check for hidden carbohydrates. A lot of people will be eating like store-bought mayonnaise, stuff like that, and they won't realize that it's got like a few grams of sugar per serving. They might be pushing themselves up on that caloric load, pushing themselves to the outskirts of ketosis by getting them those hidden sugars in the diet. So make sure you're not getting hidden sugars. Another tip. Let's see. Any other things that you shouldn't do when you hit a plateau is, well, drastically increasing cardio. For a lot of people, that's not going to be very helpful. You're stressed out if you've already cut your calories super low. You're not getting the results you want as quick as you want. Well, I'm just going to increase my cardio. Well, you might be burning off some lean muscle mass. You might be creating a more stressful situation in the body that makes it want to hold on to some more water, hold on to some more fat. So I wouldn't really recommend doing that either. When you do hit a plateau, make sure you're actually in a plateau, not just the scale hasn't moved in 3 days or the scale hasn't moved in a week. Sometimes that scale doesn't move for a couple weeks. It's not linear. Weight loss, it's like a sine wave, not just straight down to the goal. So I'm getting about 10 minutes. That's the video for the day. Yeah, check us out, www.primaledgehealth.com. We've still got the 1 kilo bags of maca. Awesome response. Thanks to everybody who's been enjoying the maca. Really stoked to be able to share it with you. It's my favorite adaptogen, straight from the Andes. Very, very powerful adaptogen. Nice, steady energy, hormone balancing. Really balances the endocrine system and helps the body adapt to stressful situations. I love the story about maca, the ancient history behind it. In pre-Inca times, it was cultivated long before the Inca even came around and dominated the Andean region, dominated South America for the most part. Long before that, maca was utilized as a powerful fertility tool, as a tool for dealing with high altitude environments. And along with the coca leaf, maca is one of the most important Inca staple crops that they would utilize for high altitude living, in low oxygen environment, when the stress is a little bit higher on the body. So maca does help you to deal with stress. Of course, no herb is going to get to the root of that stress. Only way you can get to the root of it is by doing the real work, doing that hard work. So when you hit a plateau, you're not going to be able to pop a pill and lose more weight. Not going to be able to push a button on the body and instantly lose more weight. My best advice to you, be to slow down, take a step back, enjoy your life, enjoy where you're at. Look at it more objectively. Look at it from a different angle. You've probably made a significant amount of progress already. Stop looking for the quick fix. Stop looking for the instant gratification. Really living life is about being here in the moment, not looking forward, oh, my body's crappy like that, not worrying about, oh, weight loss isn't happening fast enough, it's not happening fast enough. Be here right now. Do what you can do. It's one day at a time, one meal at a time, one breath at a time. All right? Check us out, www.primaledgehealth.com. If you want coaching, you can hit us up in the coaching section. All our clients this month, you guys are doing awesome. Really enjoyed meeting all these different people from all over the world, from different walks of life. It's so much fun. So I'll see you guys next time, www.primaledgehealth.com. Bye-bye.